Okay, hello everybody. One of the last few videos that I'll do while I'm in Melbourne. As you can see, I've got the world's famous Melbourne cricket ground behind me, where our Blue Boys will be taking on the Tigers in round 1 on the 21st of March. It's about as close as I'll get to it on the actual day, but that's okay. Looking forward to waking up early and having a 10:50 a.m. bounce, first bounce of the game. And so yeah, look, time in Melbourne's been amazing. Obviously got to go watch the boys on Monday. The sunburn settled down a little bit, and yeah, I'm just ready to, now that we've had the pre-season finished, all the off-season movements and the trainings and the injuries and the mishaps are all done, hopefully, unless something happens between now and next Thursday. So I'm just wanting to update my predicted starting 22 for round 1. And obviously it's just an opinion, and it's just how I would line up personally. I would like to think that I get it pretty close to correct, and if you check out the Carlton Live boys, I think they're going to start a competition for the closest predicted 22. So for me, there's 4 changes from my original team. Williamson, Kreuzer, Lang and Marchbank have all come out of the side for various reasons. Well, I mean, they're all out of the side due to injury, let's be honest. And in comes Gibbons, Phillips, Cuningham and Lockie O'Brien. So we'll start in the back line. I've got Lockie Plowman, Liam Jones and Nick Newman in there. Yeah, I've come to realise we're pretty thin in defence. You know, obviously you lose Doc, you lose Marchbank, you lose Williamson. You know, we've got young kids like McCready who still haven't come up yet. So yeah, we need to really rely on these guys staying healthy. But yeah, those are the 3 that I would start in defence. I think Jones is going to have a task on his hands round 1, and as I've said in previous episodes and previews, I think, you know, the opportunity is there for him. He'll start as a fullback, and it's there for him to lose. So I think he's had a pretty good off-season, to be honest. I think we're sort of looking out for him to make mistakes, and you know, I'm a little bit mindful and a little bit nervous when he gets the ball and all of that. But yeah, he'll start round 1 for me. Plowman and Newman had relatively good pre-seasons. Newman obviously had a new club, so he's got to get used to the new group, the new system, new language. And Plowman, you know, like I've said in his preview, I just want to see him play some aggressive footy. In the half-back line, we've got Simpson, Wiedering and Cunningham. I would have liked to have seen Cunningham a little bit more throughout the midfield, and this is really just due to the fact that we need someone there, and I think he's the one. I don't like Garlett in that half-back line whatsoever personally. I think Cunningham's best suited to it. It also gives him the opportunity to move up the ground and maybe use that pace of his, use that great kick of his. The thing about Cunningham is that he's a finisher and he can also kick goals. So this could change, but that's the position I've put him in for now. Wiedering, really good pre-season. Been really happy with what I've seen from Jacob. It is obviously just a pre-season, but yeah, I just want to see him play with confidence and strength and play to his strengths. And I'll back him in to have a big year. And Simo, well, he's got to carry the load a little bit in terms of being a leader, being vocal, setting the standard, which, you know, you'd think at his age he just wants to enjoy his footy, but unfortunately he's going to have to do a little bit more than that. But I have no doubt that he's capable of doing so. In the middle, so we'll go the 6 of them. We've got Walsh, Fisher and Dow, Phillips, Cripps and Murphy. Obviously Kreuzer hasn't come up. He hasn't played any of the JLT, didn't play the practice match, so that would suggest to me that he's out of contention for round 1, which is a bit unfortunate, but I really like what I've seen from Phillips, and I've spoken about it in the preview for him. Okay, this is our ruckman for round 1. Let's give him as much of an opportunity as possible for him to take that position. It's a bit of a selection headache. Obviously Kreuzer plays a more of a ground game, follows up, he tackles, whereas Phillips is a little bit more of an aerialist. So really interested to see how he goes. He's going to have his work cut out for him. The Richmond midfield's pretty intense and pretty good, so looking forward to that. Murphy, for me, I want to see him play a little bit more on the wing, on the outside. That's where I think he's going to get the best out of himself. Use that running power of his. He doesn't have to go and be there in the coal face. He doesn't have to do a lot of the contested stuff. It's just not his game. But I think he will be playing on the wing. That's where I would have him. So looking forward to that. Walsh gets himself a starting gig on the ground after what has been an incredible pre-season. You know, you can't really ask much more of him. He's running well. He's tackling well. He's moving the ball well. He's moving without the ball well. And so yeah, I'll reward him with a spot on the field. Fisher and Dow, a bit of responsibility now, you know, second and third years respectively. So yeah, a bit of responsibility on the two of them to, you know, enable us to move forward. But yeah, really excited to see what growth they have shown. Half forward line, we've got Samo, Charlie and Mitch McGovern. That hasn't changed from my original starting 22. All of them have had a pretty good pre-season. I think Samo in particular has had an outstanding pre-season. He's looked a lot more fitter, added another layer of running power. And he's maybe one, if you want to get a little bit creative, you could maybe switch him and Cuningham. Cuningham to play ahead of the ball and Samo behind it. I'm not really sure how that'll play out, but that's something that we do have up our sleeve if necessary. So those three are our half forwards. Forward line, I've got Fasolo, Harry Mackay and Gibbons. Now I love what Gibbons has shown, and what was once a bit of a glaring hole in the forward line in terms of having a small forward, I think he'll definitely replace that. Fasolo, he's come up well from the broken wrist. You know, obviously, you know, not ideal preparation. There is the idea of floating Jack Silvani in there. My personal preference is to put Fasolo in there. I think when fit and healthy, he's in our best 22. And I think he's going to work really well with the three tools that we do have in our forward line as they rotate through. And I think he's going to work his way into the season. Obviously, not ideal circumstances, but I'm a big fan of what Fasolo can bring at his best. Now, on the interchange bench, I've got Will Setterfield, Lockie O'Brien comes in, Dale Thomas and Ed Curnow. Now Curno's an interesting one because he's been tried in this new role, more of a forward. It's not really his thing, but you know, he's on the interchange bench. We can put him wherever we need him throughout the game, and so I'll put him there. Setterfield, really like what I've seen from his pre-season. He's moving well. Lockie O'Brien is obviously the interesting one. Didn't play any of the JLT games with the seniors, but for me, you know, talking about Paulson, I'd rather personally have Lockie O'Brien there. I like the idea of having, you know, more running power on the outside. You know, Murphy can do that. You know, Fisher and Dow can do that to an extent, but they're also players that can play inside and explode out of the gate. So I like O'Brien purely for the fact that he gives us an extra layer of running power, and he's healthy, and he'd probably be itching to get out there as well. So I think he'll be the little surprise packet in terms of selection, and so that's how I see it. You know, my emergencies, they could change, but at the moment I've got, you know, Jack Silvani, Liam Stocker, Cam Paulson and Jared Garland out there. I thought about putting Matthew Lobe on the, you know, as an emergency, but you know, if all goes well, Phillips is healthy between now and round one, and no need for a ruck emergency. So that's how I see it. 4 changes. The other notable there is Kennedy. Now, I'd never had him in the team. I personally feel like with him and Setterfield, if they're both fit and healthy, I'm mindful of having them both in the team, and so for that reason I kept him out. You know, it's just so happened that he's obviously copped another situation with his shoulder, which will leave him out of round 1 anyway, but he would have no doubt been in the mix for a round 1 selection. So that's how I see it. What about you? What do you think? Are you agreeing with me? Are you disagreeing with me? I think, you know, there'll be 1 or 2 that pop up and we don't really expect it, but hopefully I've got it right. And you know, as always, go the Blues.